Hey all. So War 5 here. You see Odin there, you see me going into this fight with him. If you've been following this channel for a while, you're not surprised by that. You might be surprised by the fact that he's taking half of my 6 fights this war. So it's going to be a fun one. But we start with Spider Spam here. Spam is annoying in general. Power efficiency makes him that much more annoying because he might back you up. He's going to be throwing those special ones constantly, so he's going to have a taunt on you, reducing your attack all the time. His moveset is extremely annoying to avoid in general. I find he's a fairly easy champion to accidentally parry, and so that's dangerous on Conflictor. I'm being very intentional about that. But he doesn't have that much health, so as annoying as the taunt is in slowing us down, Odin does hit fairly hard. We're just spamming the special one as soon as we get it. That means that we wouldn't have to worry about an evade even if it did trigger, but his nonsense is at 0. So we're basically shutting off all of his defensive tools. This is very, very simple. The taunt is healing us, and then Odin's armor is allowing us to block without taking much damage. But it is spam, and so that can happen. He's such a jerk, man. I knew that heavy was coming, but, his timing is a little trickier. That's fine. Odin's a tank. We move on to this Tigra here. I am going to use all 3 of Reed's prefights, but it is worth calling out that the suppression field in particular, that decreases her combat rate by 25%, but Vivified is increasing it by 200. So the suppression is just bringing her combat rate from 300% of normal to 275% of normal. Technically 285% of normal, because she also gets plus 10% more as a rank 3. It's fun. Anyway, we're expecting her to gain an absolute ton of power. Also, I run 3 out of 3 in the Petrify Mastery, so it's actually 255 as opposed to 285. Point being, a lot of power. It's now brought down another 25% because we had that special 2, and we are basically shutting off Mystic Dispersion at this point. That is the big reason that I power started, to make sure that I'm only dealing with her silly combat power rate and not also ability power, but she's annoying. I didn't really want to get backed up and have to deal with her special 2 at the wall, and I figured that if that special 1 didn't kill her, that I would take less damage from this special 3 than I would from the special 2. And seeing as how it did all of 12%, I was correct. So that's just an easy potion backup before section 2, and Reed sorts Tigra in short order. Different kind of tanky than Odin, but just as effective. See the battle groups having fun being in each other's videos, and we are going to take Odin on Rich Get Richer here with Odin. Because he starts with just as many buffs as the enemy Odin, and he can gain even more. So we are going to land a couple heavy counters in here. We're not going to rely on our parries, but we are going to parry. Just remember that Underhanded comment means that we're going to be functioning at about 60 or 70% of our normal ability accuracy for most of this fight. Or actually, maybe I don't heavy counter. Maybe I just throw it off the stuns there. Anyway, our opponent is not running Limber. We do have a pretty big mismatch in our favor this war. But I still probably shouldn't have done that until I had tested the stun more exhaustively. I just kind of saw that there was time left and went for it. Clearly my instincts were correct, but that's not really something you should do. Anyway, Rich Get Richer is just feeding us. Basically, as soon as you dex, you're winning the race, and then it's just so much power. We throw this special 1, this special 3, sorry. We threw the special 1 first so that we had True Strike. It gets reactivated by the special 3, allowing it to do all of that damage, ignoring our opponent's armor. We're hitting super hard now with 2 big Furies and 1 small one from his Sig, and then the special 2 more than finishes it. So really, really easy Odin fight. We have Mangog next. Honestly, Odin could probably take Mangog. I don't think there's really anything about that fight that would slow him down all that much. But that would be silly. And so we're going to use Reed. Because he's just a really solid counter here. We don't need the... what is it? We don't need the power start here because this is just a relatively simple node. Reed's going to have it under control very quickly. But what I should have done is I should have actually used the Odin prefights on myself. I didn't because I had originally intended to give them to another member of my battle group to make one of their fights easier. That didn't end up happening. And so it was just in my head that it's like, hey, your prefights are for somebody else, don't use them on yourself, and I didn't adapt here. Which, that's fine. Reed's a great assignment for this without it, but we would have been gaining so much power with even one or two of those on. You do see me basically achieving the same effect by dexing and just kind of sitting on it for a while. It's the same amount of power gain, so not really a big loss. But just one thing we could have made a little bit easier on ourselves. I don't know what happened there. And I especially don't know what happened there. Like, I think I did intentionally slow down the combo, hoping he would do something, but I don't know. Something happened with inputs and or my brain's outputs over the course of about 10 seconds there. Reed's still great counter. We're not using him again. That's awesome. Go ahead and use that refill because I know I can get through my fights here. And we are going to be using Odin again for this Apocalypse. A couple different things you could have done here. I could have put the Odin pre-fights on Hyperion or Reed. They would have been great. But just, this is such a great Odin fight. You'll see. I went ahead and put a suppression on him so that we have to deal with a few fewer specials on block, but really not necessary. It is going to give him some healing. It's also going to trigger a little bit of inequity, so he won't be hitting as hard. Again, really not necessary. The important part is just that this is Odin. So I am going to go ahead and throw this special one after two heavies, because that's going to give us more unique buffs. And then I think I just ride it to the special 3. Yep, we stay kind of close, bait out this special one. It does almost nothing on block. Throw the special 3, refresh all of our buffs, and get another copy of the big Aptitude, the big Fury, and the big Armor Up. And now we just spam special 2s. And when I say spam, it's probably going to be, I think, 2 of them? I forget exactly how much damage this does. But once Odin throws a special 3, the fight is basically just over. I would normally insist on throwing another heavy to make sure that the special 2 refreshes our debuffs, or our buffs, but we just don't need it here. See, another combo sends us right back up, and there you go. Anything that isn't explicitly stopping Odin on these nodes, I consider an invitation. He's so good for that stuff. Moving on, I think our last fight is just a Terrax on Polka Dot Power. You've seen me take the boss with him, therefore, obviously, this is going to be simpler. Now that I've said that out loud, I'm pretty sure I do get hit in this fight at some point. I don't know. Stuff happens, but we have plenty of pre-fights from Reed. We're just going to go ahead and throw the debuff Siphoner here. I don't think I ended up using any others, so I probably could have done more, but it's fine. I wanted to have them in case anybody needed them. And the debuff Siphoner is really the only one we need. The Petrify doesn't really do anything here. Terrax is Conduit, and he doesn't have any ability power rate. And the Suppression is fine, because it does slow him down on throwing specials. But that's not really a big deal, because if he does throw specials, then that's just one more easy opening, right? And you can see this is going really well. It's very... There, I knew I got hit somewhere. Yeah, I was slightly late on that special dashback and then throwing it. So I did deserve to get hit there. He was a little bit rude, but I left myself open. But in general, this fight is just a smaller version of the boss fight. We get pushed to a special 3. Same thing that happened in both of my boss fights. Not a problem. Hype just gets stronger now. We have the cosmic charges giving us that permanent attack boost. We have extra physical resist to help us block and or if we get hit again. And we find an opening for another special one. We of course have Sick and Tired heal blocking him. We're looking for another one there. Just barely get it in under the stun shield and before we get pushed to 2 bars of power, and the fight's over. Hyperion versus Terrax. Simple almost everywhere on the map. So yeah, that's my War 5. We did end up winning this war. Dropped a couple sloppy ones. Like I said, we had a pretty significant advantage, so it was still a win, but just we can't afford to be in those habits. So we're going to work on those, but I hope you guys enjoyed this one, because I certainly did. I mean, you've seen me with Hype and Mr. Fantastic plenty, but I love the chance to bring Odin and actually fight with him, and just 3 perfect fights. Could not have asked for better. So until next time, thanks so much for watching, and take care.